You wake up in the middle of the night and worry about things. Maybe you're going through a particularly rough time in your life, and so you're hypersensitive. I've never been surprised as a clinician that people were anxious. Maybe you're physiologically ill and less resilient than you should be. Maybe you're not eating enough. One thing I would recommend to begin with is to make sure that you just try this. I know it's surprising advice. Try to eat a big breakfast for like 2 weeks. See what happens. See if that drives the worry down. Now, then the next thing I would ask, when does it happen? Like, are these dreams? Are these thoughts before you go to bed? Do you wake up in the middle of the night with these visions running through your head? One of the things you can do that's counterproductive is take one of those fantasies that's torturing you and that you're suppressing, because you will be suppressing it, and let it play itself out. You see, what's happening is that the parts of your mind, the parts of your brain, the parts of your psyche that are alarm systems, so that's the anxiety systems, they're trying to think something through. And they're using fantasy to think it through. This is actually a form of thought that's torturing you, because it's reasonable for the parts of your brain that are on the outlook for negative occurrences to think, well, what if? That's what thinking is. And sometimes you think positively, what if? And sometimes you think negatively. Well, you're, in all likelihood, doing everything you can to escape.
Let's go. Let's go. Good morning, family. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful day. Ready to go ahead and dive into today's topic. Gonna go ahead and go live on IG so we can go ahead and get into it today. Anxiety. Awesome. All right, family. Let's get to it. What is going on? How are we feeling? Super grateful for these tough times because they are building legends. Shane, absolutely believe it, brother. This is all going to be part of the testimony and the story to come. So I love it. I love it. Another great day. We got a phenomenal topic today. We're going to be diving in on how to go ahead and let go of being anxious, right? How to go ahead and get rid of the limiting beliefs so we can go ahead and step into the highest version of ourselves. So with no further ado, let's drop a little bit of gratitude down below. Grateful to be alive. Grateful for God. Grateful for the mind, for the body, for the spirit. Grateful. I got my little buddy over here. This is actually the first time in 9 months he hasn't been able to see his mom, so he's a little nervous, so I got to take care of him for today. But yes, I'm grateful for each and every one of you taking the time to become the best version of yourself. And just know December is truly a month to remember because we are setting up for the abundance coming in to 2023. So no further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today. Got a great topic. Let's get into it. All right, family. So this is going to be diving a little bit off of, honestly, match training last night. This was a phenomenal training, and I really wanted to go ahead and dive and double back on it because a lot of these nuggets, I believe, is the perfect time for all of us to really go ahead and take in. All right. So first thing, when it comes to worry, when it comes to anxiety, right? You know how Matt started off this call yesterday was beautiful. You're talking about let's go from a concerned mindset to a confident mindset, right? A lot of the time, so many things that a lot of us worry about, if it's not going to matter in 5 months, we don't need to spend 5 minutes thinking about it. And there were so many things along the course of my journey that I had to literally reframe the way I thought about it. The old me that used to get so upset about so many different things, I had to realize and change the way I was thinking about all different aspects of my business, whether that was losing a trade, whether that was somebody in my family not believing me, whether that was putting out content and somebody, Johnny99, was commenting negative on what it is that I was doing, right? I had to change from a concerned mindset to a confident mindset because here's what I learned, okay? We cannot create. It's tough to create when we're living in a concern, when we're living in anxiety, when we're living in a worry. It's hard to go out and put any content. It's hard to go out and do the things that need to get done. So at the end of the day, we get so worried that it changes up our flow and it changes how we go about our actions. Okay, I'll give you guys an example, right? Even for myself, as I'm talking about this training, I'm going through it for me, right? Over the past 2 days, I've been on fire for the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, doing the morning routine, the morning rituals, locked in, very intentional with what I'm thinking in the morning. And the last 2 days, I'm not going to lie, 11 page vision, I got hit like a brick. I got blindsided and it threw me off a little bit, right? It started getting me into some feelings and thoughts that I didn't need to be thinking, right? I'm thinking about things that could potentially happen in the future, and it's affecting the way I'm feeling now, and it's affecting the actions that I'm taking in the present. So if you guys have felt something like this, if you guys are going through something like this, Drop some twos down below. Drop some twos down below if you feel like that you can relate, right? It could be anything going on in your life right now, and you might feel like it's throwing you a little bit off of your state. You're feeling a little bit of funky going through this thing, okay? If you can relate. Well, let me tell you, you're not alone. I promise you are not alone. Okay, so here's how we started. Here's how we started to grow through this thing. You ready? Let's get into it. Let's keep it moving. Here's how we grow through this. Okay. Leaders who want to create a better tomorrow cannot afford to live in a worry world. This is how Matt followed this up with. Leaders who want to create a better tomorrow cannot afford to live in a worry-free world, because there's a difference between being cautious and there's a difference between being concerned. One is fear, one is facts. One is fear, one is facts. My mother's in the hospital. She broke her leg. She's getting surgery. Nothing about, right? There's two types of fear. One is caution, one is facts. My fear right now is nothing of caution. It's a fact. There's something literally physically that actually happened, right? So there's a reason to be fearful, right? But if you think about fear, right, the two types of fear, one is caution, one is a fact. Out of the two types, one protects us and one actually holds us back. The one that we're fearful of being cautious, guess what? That fear holds us back. Our brain is designed to do two things: keep us alive or find the pattern. So trying to keep us alive, our brain is always being cautious about every little thing that we do. Don't go put out this post because you might get a little bit of negativity. Don't go out and make that trading account because you might lose a little bit of money. Don't go out and make that post because somebody negative might comment. Whatever it is, all of these different areas, guess what? That is the fear of living a cautious life. So I want you to identify all of the fears that we have going on right now. I want you to ask yourself this question: is this a fact, or am I just being cautious? Because most of the time, it's not that it's a fact, right? It's not that we need to be protected. It's the fear that's holding us back. So I love that. This was the first half of this training that got so ingrained in me, because I started to realize it's so true. How many of us have all of these fears? At the end of the day, it's the fear that we don't even need to be worried about. It's the fear that we can actually utilize as gas on the fire, right? I love that. So here's my next point for you. I got 3 points for you today. Number one is going to be going from a concern to a confident mindset. Number two, okay, going from a scarcity to an abundant mindset. This is big. Okay? This is something I had to grow through along the course of the journey as well. When I used to lose trades, when people didn't believe in me at the beginning, it ruffled my feathers a little bit. In fact, it still ruffled my feathers years later, but here's what I mean, okay? When people didn't believe me at the beginning, I almost succumbed to their opinions. I almost let what they were saying dictate my actions going into the future. How funny is that? You're never going to make money trading. You're never going to be able to speak around the world. My girlfriend broke up with me for 2 years because she thought I was crazy. I'm here talking about I'm going to be able to travel the world, speak and impact all of these lives and help them become the best version of yourself. She thought I was nuts. She was living in a scarcity mindset. She couldn't see the abundance that I was envisioning. So most of the time, this is how the story unfolds. Most people can't see your vision, right? We say it all the time. You have your own set of eyes for a reason, because you were meant to see your vision. If they can't see your vision, they must be out of focus. So many have fear of letting go and always having to be in control. If we're being honest, this was me. Okay. I'm the type of person who I always wanted to control and manipulate every aspect of my life for a long time, until I really dove into entrepreneurship, right? Until I really learned how the mindset works, until I really learned how the spiritual sides work, right? Success is 90 to 99% spiritual. So a lot of these things, we can't touch it. We can't manipulate it physically. It's things that happen right here. It's things that are happening intangibly. So this is a major part of success. I had to learn along the course of this way, because when we try to control, when we try to latch on to things, okay, we don't have any room to have the blessings pour in. And this is the same analogy as Bruce Lee talks about, right? To be like water. If you have the bowl and you try and scoop the water and you manipulate and you try to squeeze everything out of a life, you look back, you have no abundance left. You have no water left. But if we come in and we let it flow in and flow out how it's supposed to be, this is where the magic happens. We're not worried. We're not anxious about the future. We're not stressed about the past. We're living in the present. And just like Neno said today, There's a reason why the present is called the present, because the present is a gift if you can truly be in it. Because here's what I know. Most people, they're living 15 minutes, an hour, days ahead in their future, and we're also living in our past. So how can we create if we're not in the present moment? I had to learn this. I would be with my family. I'd be thinking about business. I'd be doing other things, and I wasn't actually really there. So everything that I do now, I'm present. I'm on this call, I'm present with you. I'm locked in. Every Zoom that I do, all the trainings that I get on, I'm present. I'm intentional because I understand if I'm living in a scarcity mindset and I'm getting on this call to just say, oh, it's just another call, another Zoom. I don't really care to get on. I'm not really learning anything. I hear these things all the time. Well, guess what? Living in a scarcity mindset. You're not going to be able to create. You're not going to be able to build. You're not going to be able to grow because of listening with that mindset. The second that you think you know everything, you're living in a scarcity mindset because you think you already have everything. You have nothing to gain. You have nothing to grow with. But you see, with an abundance mindset, you're always a student. We're always growing. We're always learning. We know that we can become more so we can do more. Okay? So this is big. Remind yourself. Neno said it all day long. They went through it yesterday. Say it. Drop it down in the chat. I lack nothing. Drop it down in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and get mine down there below. I lack nothing. Okay. Each and every one of us, we're exactly where we need to be right here, right now, December in 2022, because where we're at is setting up into 2023. Let me ask you this, okay? Are you where you want to be at right now? Drop a 1 if you are, drop a 2 if you're not. Okay. If the answer is 2, if you dropped a 2, let me ask you this. Do you have a fire that's burning in you right now? Do you feel some type of energy that's lit inside of you right now to go ahead and really, really step into the highest version of yourself? I don't know if you do, but I 1000% do. And guess what? This comes from living in an abundance mindset. I'm not where we want to be at yet, but I know exactly where we're going. I know where the dream team is headed. I know the abundance that is ready to be laid in our fingertips. I already know it. I feel it. It's already done. It's already written. Time just has to follow. Okay, so you've got to know that the future happening ahead is clear. The future happening ahead is compelling. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I truly believe 2023 is going to be one of the biggest breakout years any of us have ever experienced in all different angles, mentally, physically, financially, abundantly, right? I'm getting tested by life, but guess what? The test happens before the testimonies to see if we're ready for the blessing. So your test is happening for you to set you up for who you are destined to become. And the last tip for today, the third and final one, is going to be going from a fixed mindset to a flex. Going from a fixed mindset to a flex. You see, in entrepreneurship, you're going to have to learn how to flex a little bit. You're going to have to learn how to be adaptable. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you get too stiff, it gets windy in this world. The wind blows a little bit here. So if you're too stiff, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get broken in half. You're going to fall over. But here's what I've been able to learn over the course of this journey, okay? If you look at a really strong tree, a really thick, a really tall tree, you don't know it, but here's what I can promise you. The roots in that tree are very deep. That tree is rooted, right? So you know what's funny? I'll give you an example. Check this out. We just had a Category 5 hurricane over here. So IG, you can see it, Category 5. Here's the trees. Now let me go ahead and show YouTube real quick. So check this out. Category 5. Look at the trees. Okay. Do you know why this whole lot was filled? This was filled with trees that were this high. This whole thing was filled with trees. Why do you think that these 3 are still standing? Why do you think that one is still standing? Do you know what the answer is? It's only because they were rooted. The roots were deep enough to when no matter what wind happened, that tree was going to be able to stand. It was not falling over because it went through the experience. It went through the trials. It went through the tribulations. So now when life was given abundance, you were rooted and you were humble. You had gratitude. You appreciated the little things. So now life is ready to go ahead and pour the abundance in our hands. But you see somebody that doesn't do the deep work. They don't journal. They don't do gratitude. They get on the calls just to listen. They're not really here to really learn. They're just here for the fast money. Well, guess what? I can promise you that tree is going to fall over like it was a toothpick. You know why? Because it had no roots. It had no roots. It was built with a fixed mindset. A flex mindset always knows that we're always a student, we're always growing, there's always more to learn. Shane Celine, the ending of 2020 is trying to compromise my 2023. But ain't no way that's happening. 2023 is already in the books as my best year yet. Believe it. I'm telling you, right? The tests come before the testimonies. This is setting us up for our greatest year yet. So check this out, okay? This is big. This is really big. If not focused, okay, if we're not focused on what we have, guess what? We're probably focused on what it is that we're losing. So to be able to really have a flexed mindset, we can't focus on the lack coming into the new year. Okay. So growing hurts. At the end of the day, when you have a flexed mindset, we're gonna have to go through growing pains, right? In order to flex, guess what? It's gonna take growth, right? When you go in the gym, it takes being flexible. It takes stretching your muscles out. The same thing goes with here. We're gonna have to go through the growing pains. We're gonna have to be able to withstand all of these things that comes with this game. Growing is often done in a place that, to be honest, doesn't feel very comfortable. It doesn't feel comfortable to go make videos. It doesn't feel comfortable to be consistent for this long. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. It's worth it. It's worth it. So at the end of the day, there's two sides to growth. We can experience growth going through hard times, right? Like right now, some of us are going through, but here's the other side. Guess what? Times don't have to be tough for us to be able to be growing as well. We can be growing through positive times too. We don't have to experience growth at our lowest points, but you know what's funny? Here's what I will tell you. Oftentimes, some of our biggest breakthroughs come from some of our greatest failures, come from some of our darkest moments. You know what's funny? The sun shines the brightest right after the darkest hour. There's so much energy right after the darkest hour, it's not even funny. So I want you guys to think about it. If you feel like there's a lot of darkness going on, you feel like you're stiff, you feel like you're in a fixed mindset, here's what I want to tell you. 2023 is nothing but a decision. To say, you know what? I'm ready to draw a line in the sand. I'm ready to step into the highest version of myself. And when we grow, here's the difference, okay? We're talking about the dirt right now. We might be going through a lot right now, but guess what? The dirt, the soil, masses it all the time. The seed is never as expensive as the soil, because the soil, the dirt, everything that we're going through right now, this is the nutrients. Remember we talked about getting rooted like the tree? This is the nutrients inside of the dirt to allow us to build the calluses. Okay? I want you guys to look at your hands. If you've ever lifted weights before, you start to develop calluses. So when you go back in the weight room, you're ready to lift more weights. But if you don't go do the reps, guess what? You're not going to have any calluses, and you're going to wonder why everything seems like it hurts in your life. But if we run at the fear, if we run at the things that are going to develop us and harden us up, guess what? We get stronger, we get better, we get faster, we get smarter, we get more powerful, and this is where the magic happens. And here's what I want to leave you with, family. Sometimes we're afraid of our own greatness. We're afraid of the responsibility that might come when we actually blow up, when we actually step into that responsibility, because with great power comes great responsibility. So I've realized, even for myself, sometimes I haven't committed because I didn't think I was responsible enough. I didn't think I was ready to handle 5,000 people in my organization. So I was afraid to commit. You know what I realized? Everything that we want, everything that we need, everything we desire is right as close as our skin. We can step into that highest version. That abundance, that highest version of ourselves has been inside all along. It just takes matching with that frequency to get aligned, to let the universe start making all of this magic work for us. So, family, this is my training for you guys today. 3 things to really go ahead and think about: going from a concern to a confident mindset, right? Going from a scarcity to an abundant mindset, and then transforming from a fixed to a flexed mindset. These are all 3 things that I've been able to implement over the past couple of years that I see each and every one of you stepping into every day. And I'm telling you, it is 1000% worth it. So family, if nobody told you today, I believe in you. I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you. And I'm so excited to see the growth that has continued to come. I love you, family. It is your favorite entrepreneur. Define dreams. Remember, we can be, do, and have anything that we can hold in our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. This is the last week of the December Hunger Games, family. I'm going to go ahead and drop the ticket to Alex Morton's event. Break the code. If you guys have not got your ticket already, we actually have 15% off. All you have to do is go type in your promo code BTC15, and we're going to be going from $297, 15% off, getting ready for the biggest event to go ahead and start off the year 2023 with a bang. And following after that, we've got March Madness. So family, we are getting ready. We are excited. We are expecting, and we are getting miracles. I love you, family. I will see you tomorrow on another episode with Rise and Shine with D-Fun. Let's get to work. It's game time.